you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It's a real pleasure to be part of this incredible webinar series. Before I dive into the topic, just a few words about me. Probably some of you already know me. I don't know. Like I have the chat open, so I will try to follow whatever you write in the chat. So if you know me, if you have attended a session done by me, say hi. I will be very happy to greet you as well. So first of all, I want to tell you a few words about me. Like I said, like I've been teaching for 30 years around. Hello. Okay, I can see the chat flowing. Thank you. Hello from around the world. I'm from Poland. I'm based here in the south of Poland, very close to the border with Czech Republic. In my teaching and in my trainings, I promote simple and efficient teaching techniques. Yeah, because I believe this is powerful teaching, mostly simplicity and efficiency. I teach, I train, I inspire, I mentor, I create, I do everything, whatever you wish. And in my private life, I love reading. I'm a Netflix addict, like probably some of you. I love watching Netflix. I don't have time sometimes, but I try to watch something that appears, like something that has appeared recently. And I'm also a keen hiker. Actually, I like extreme walks. I don't know if you know how Camino de Santiago. This is the way in Spain, which takes like almost a month to cover. But I did 5 times. I've walked Camino 5 times in shorter pieces. If I can say so. Okay, hello. I can see you are seriously. Yeah. Oh, hello from Santiago de Compostela. Tina. So nice to see someone from my favorite place in the world. Okay, so let's jump in. So I want to start with 2 questions. So the first one is like, try to think back to your first mobile phone. Do you remember your first mobile phone? If you do, write in the chat, what was it? Yeah. In my case, it was an old good Nokia. Yeah. Okay. I can see some Nokias coming here. So you see, it was very simple. It wasn't a smartphone. It still had buttons, but it actually changed my life. Yeah. So do you remember how it's changed your life? Like what was the influence? What changed? The beginnings, like I could get in touch with anyone, anywhere, from anywhere. The problem was also that I was available anytime, anywhere, and that was kind of a hindrance here. But with smartphone, you probably know that now this is like the gadget, something that used to be a gadget turned out to be an indispensable tool. Okay, so something we might have feared at first and found ourselves maybe confused, maybe overwhelmed, soon turned out to be an incredible help. You can plan your life, you can find your destination, you can learn, you can watch films, you can stay in touch with your friends, you can create, you can do anything with your mobile phone, with your smartphone. Okay, I'm talking about this because now there is a new kid on the block, which is actually not so new, but it's gaining momentum right now. Okay, everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence. So I watched Kacper's session yesterday, and at some point he asked you about one thing you're going to do with the AI, and a lot of you, I think, like definitely the majority of you mentioned planning. So it's definitely a tool that can help us teachers. Yeah, so it does help us. It can create different tasks, ideas, and it can, come up with anything, whatever we want. But today I want to focus on a different aspect of artificial intelligence. And by that, I mean a tool that can help our students actually learn. and to be more precise, to help them learn how to speak, how to be more confident, and how to become independent, and how to learn how to speak English quickly and maybe I wouldn't say painlessly, but yeah, there is there is something like that here. Okay, so I can see hellos are still coming here from Alabama. Okay, hello from Poland. Yeah, I can see some Polish names. Hi guys, I'm very happy to see you here. Okay, so now because this session is about teaching adults, so I will focus on adults, of course. Some of the things I mentioned apply to all age groups, but you know, like my main focus is today is the adult learners. So have a look at these challenges we face when we work with adults. So first of all, the first one is like and this one definitely does not apply only to adults, is like our learners understand more than they can produce. It's absolutely natural that our receptive skills are a level higher than or even more than our productive skills. Yes, it's easier for us to understand because we have the whole context. We can see the situation. So it's definitely something different than actually producing the language. I have students who are really fluent in listening, but whenever they have to say something, oh, it's a different story. You know, they forget basic words like always, for example. Okay. Another challenge is that a lot of adult learners get stressed when speaking in public. And here I don't mean, you know, walking on the stage and talking in front of the huge audience. I mean, using a language when they are accompanied by anybody, you know, and people, by anyone. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like when they speak English in their minds, they feel okay. But whenever they have to produce the language and they have to speak in front of, I don't know, somebody who, in their opinion, speaks English better, they are kind of blocked. They kind of hit the wall pretty often, and I can see that that stems from probably from their experience, from education, or some false beliefs they have in their minds. But it is a challenge, definitely, for me. And I don't know, how about you? If it is a challenge for you as well, you can write in the chat box. The next thing is the problem with adult learners, that they stick to their comfort zone. They don't want to get out of it, especially when they reach a certain level, is this B1 plateau. Okay, so when they reach this level in English, they can talk about anything. Yes, they can say anything they want in very simple words quite often, okay, or the words that they feel comfortable with. So it's pretty rare for them to get out of their comfort zone just because they feel the need. Yes. Fear of speaking in public, even if it's only one person. Chris writes here, break this the first day of the course by getting students to record themselves speaking to one neighbor. Okay, brilliant. I will talk about recording yourself here as well. Okay, and the challenge number 4 I want to mention here is what I call blaming teachers for their lack of progress. Like this lack of agency. They quite often, it does not apply to all adult learners, but the older ones, like more close to my age. I think it's definitely the consequence of the education system that we were part of, that they expect the teacher to give them everything on a silver platter. Yeah, so I cannot count the number of times I heard from my students, I cannot speak English because I had a bad teacher. Oh my, seriously. So this is something we have to deal with. Yes, they blame everyone else but themselves. Definitely, that's what happens. So I will show you today what we can do to overcome these obstacles, these challenges, the problems. And I will show you a brilliant course book, which is absolutely my favorite, Speak Out third edition. Okay, so this is the third edition, which is totally updated, top notch. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I will show you the tools that you can use, the AI and the course book offers. And then I will also show you, just like I mentioned in this promo video I recorded, how to strike a balance between AI integration and the human touch, because you know that we teachers are irreplaceable. For now, we don't know what will happen in the future, but for now, we still are irreplaceable. Okay, so if you work with Speak Out third edition and you log into your account on Pearson English panel, yeah, Pearson, okay, you know where. I'm sorry, on Pearson. Okay, you have to create an account, and there you would just add the course books that you're working with. So there, if you choose the specific level, the level you're working with, you will see some options. Okay, whatever you have in printed version, like you have a course book, you have a teacher's book, and so on. Everything is digitalized, so everything is accessible to you. Yes, Pearson English portal. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Marianella. I think it's kind of stress, and I want to say too much too quickly. Okay, so as I said, you have all the things here in digital version. Yeah, you have the student's book, you have the workbook, you have online practice, and then you have something extra, which is called interactive speaking practice. And this is the protagonist of this session. Okay, so this is something incredible. And let me start with a short video I recorded last year, in which I present the idea behind this AI tool. And then I will go step by step into all the details. Okay, so let me play it for a minute and see how it works. What's the thing here? We can start immediately.
Hello, Leisureland Gym. How can I help you?
I need some information about gym classes.
Okay, sure. What would you like to know?
How much does it cost?
Classes cost £10 for adults and £8 for students.
You mean £8 for students?
Yes, that's right. What else would you like to know?
What time are the classes? Okay, I will stop here. I think you can see the idea, okay? So what's happening here, I was just having a conversation with AI, okay? So, yes, let me skip to the next slide. We can, no, okay, so when you work with Speak Out third edition, every unit has 4 parts, A, B, C, and D. And the C part focuses on the functional language. And a part of this C lesson in the course book is the AI tool, which is called Speak Anywhere. Okay, so if your students use the online version, they have this kind of the file. But if you want to show them in the course book, like at the bottom here, they can see Speak Anywhere. So it directs them to this AI tool. And once your students enter this platform, they can see all the lessons from the course book. So as you can see in this slide, lesson 3C, 5C, 4C, and so on. And so they simply choose, and they simply, our learners corrected it, the user, okay, just Stay with me, and you will see in a second. Okay, so they just simply choose a lesson that they want to practice. Okay, and here, as you can see, when they start practice, they have to press the play button, and the AI starts the conversation. So in this case, it was finally, you're an hour late. And our students have to respond to that. So they have to press this blue button at the bottom, hold to speak. And while holding, they have to say whatever they want to say. There is a hint, as you can say, in which shows them that they should apologize. So that's what they do. And then the AI responds to whatever they say. As you can see, sometimes AI might not understand you because you either mispronounce some words or you speak too quietly. Okay, or you make a very serious mistake. Okay, but it will not show you the mistake. It will just inform you that you were not understood. You have to do it again. Okay, so at this point, the AI will show you, will give you a hint. So it was like, say my file was down, okay? And the conversation goes like that. If AI understands you, it will give you this green button, perfect, move on, okay? Let's go on. So this is how it works. And once our students finish the practice, they get instant feedback. As you can see, this type of feedback focuses on the growth mindset. It does not focus on the mistakes, like you failed here, yes, you're useless. No. This is not it. We want our students to work on their strengths, to see that they succeeded and that they can do more maybe next time. There are some stars which show you how well you did. So as you see, in this case, in this lesson, AI understood me pretty well because in comprehension, I have 5 stars. But in the language use, you see, I have only 2.5 because I used some phrases and the AI presents and the phrases that I managed to use. But there were a lot more phrases before the practice. And I will show you in 3 minutes what I mean by that. Okay, so have a look. Using this tool, this AI interactive speaking practice, is something which is, I think, quite powerful and empowering for our students, because those who fear speaking in public can practice like on their own terms, in their own time, without any witnesses. Okay, so they practice in controlled circumstances. They have some kind of control over the situation, over the conversation. It is a meaningful interaction because it is like a real life conversation. This is functional language, remember. So our students practice the things that they will have a chance to actually use in life when they go shopping, when they want to ask for advice, give directions and so on. The functional language is like a whole plethora of topics. They have a chance to develop their skills, the widen their vocabulary range, and I will show you with the key phrases that they can work with. It's a brilliant tool to help those students who, like I mentioned, have this public speaking anxiety, because before they do something in front of the class, in front of their group, they can practice at home. They can do it individually and, practice, so that as long as they feel pretty comfortable. And as you can see, it's a brilliant conversational partner outside our classroom. That's what I can hear pretty often from my students, like, Magda, we don't have a lot of chances to actually use the language, to actually speak English outside the classroom. Here you go. Okay, just use this tool, and you will see that it is possible. Okay, so the problem with adult learners is the perfectionist trap. Quite often, when they enroll in our courses, they want to learn a skill, but they have this mindset in which they assume that they have to learn a lot before they even start using the language independently or outside the classroom. This is definitely the problem. And what I tell my students is like they have to give themselves permission to make mistakes. Okay, you learn from your mistakes, and I encourage to use this AI tool. And I keep telling them that they should not learn a language to use it one day. They actually should use the language to learn it. And using this AI tool, the interactive speaking practice, they will have a chance to do that. Okay, so now let's move on to this part in which I want to show you this irreplaceable human touch, because this is a brilliant tool, and this is something which our students, your students will definitely love, because I know from my students that they absolutely adore this tool. But I will show you like what we can do, we as teachers, what we can do to make sure that our students actually make progress, that they work with this AI tool to actually learn something and to become more independent, more confident speakers. So the first idea is like provide a checklist, because when students start this practice, what I noticed at first was that they opened this tool and they immediately started press the start the lesson, start practice, but they seemed not to notice that before they start the practice, they should have a look at the key phrases and the vocabulary that might be helpful and they are supposed to use and to practice in this particular situation. So you see the play button, so our students can press the play button, they can listen to the phrases, but they seem to forget it. So what I did, I prepared, I started with a 6-step checklist. Okay, so I keep repeating my students, guys, first choose a lesson, then listen to key phrases, then repeat them aloud, and then start the practice. Do not go straight into the practice if you didn't listen to key phrases or try to repeat them aloud. It's quite important for me personally, because I have a lot of students who, when they speak, they make mistakes or they mispronounce words, for example. And very often I give them the right pronunciation and the reaction is just nodding, is Okay, but if they do not repeat the word, they will not remember the pronunciation, right? So I encourage them to really listen and repeat to the phrases, to the key phrases, and repeat them aloud. So then start the practice. Once you finish, analyze the feedback that the system gives you, and then repeat again. Try to do it better. Try to add something more. Try to use different phrases. Try to have a conversation in which you use all the phrases from the list, which is quite a challenge sometimes, but it is doable. So give your students a 6-step checklist, and you will support their learning, and you will help them do the tasks in a more powerful and kind of sensible way. We want them to learn. Okay, the next thing is what I can hear from my students is that, oh my gosh, I have a bad memory. Yeah, I will never learn. Yeah, I can't remember this phrase or that phrase and so on. Okay, so of course, they expect from us, like I said, they blame the teachers. Yes, they don't remember, and then they say it's my fault. So, but I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to support them. So I do anything I can to help them remember, and I use techniques and methods which actually lead to better remembering stuff. So what I use in my lessons is retrieval practice. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the idea of retrieval practice. It is the concept which says that you remember better if you try to retrieve information from your memory. Okay, reading and reading again does not make you remember better. Retrieving from your memory supports durable retention. So what I incorporate into my lessons is a lot of retrieval practice. And for example, when they work with the key phrases, my students tell me, because I keep asking them when we talk about their practice, I keep asking them, have you used all the phrases, all the key phrases you were supposed to use? And one of the students told me, but when I start the practice, I can't see the key phrases, and I have to, I should remember them, but I don't remember them. So, so I use whatever I can, this B1 plateau, typical situation. So I came up with this idea in which I tell them, okay, so let's try with a very simple, but a kind of a clever cheat sheet. So I use this kind of an exercise, which I call the acronym cheat sheet. So they take the phrases and I ask them to write down just I don't expect them to rewrite the sentences. Yeah, that's not something they should do. There is something better, writing just the first letters of the word. So I can't get they just should write IG, the. Okay. And then when they start the conversation, they have a kind of a cheat sheet, but not with the whole phrases, but with the first letter. So still, there is some effort. They have to retrieve the whole phrases from their memory, or they have to kind of decode whatever they have, whatever they are supposed to use. It works really, really well. I recommend this technique, and my students also like it because, they don't have to write the whole sentences down. They just, write single letters, and their memory and the way they remember the phrases improves. Okay, so about rereading and doing again, because sometimes my students tell me, but what's the point of, rewriting again and doing the exercise again? Ethan Honoré, in this brilliant book, said something which I absolutely agree with. We should not be ashamed of rereading. We should be ashamed only of ignorance. And what I mean here is like what he meant. And what I mean here is that, when you read the book and you read it for the first time, you don't remember everything. It's impossible to learn everything just by reading the book once, okay? So if you want to remember, if you want to learn something, you have to probably read it again, or you have to read some parts of it again. And, there is no shame in it, yeah? You should be ashamed of ignorance. Like my students, I keep telling them that if they make mistakes when they speak English, they shouldn't be ashamed. It should be the people who cannot speak at all, yeah, and do not know a foreign language at all. Okay, so less is more. We are still here at helping them to remember, right? Remember, less is more. Okay, this is a very popular phrase. Less is more. It's not always true because I don't know how about you, but for me, less coffee is less coffee. And it's definitely not more. I love coffee. I'm addicted to coffee and I need coffee. So less is not always more. But when we talk about teaching and when we talk about effective teaching and, the practice the things we do with our students, less is definitely more. Okay, and let me show you something. This is a part of this Speak Out Third edition. It's a lesson from the B2 level. And like I said before, I really love this course book. It's absolutely brilliant. And have a look. By the end, this is lesson 2A. So this is the input lesson. Okay, so our students have to I kind of bombarded with new vocabulary, with new structures. And what is typical for Speak Out, the title says itself, what is typical for Speak Out, that there is a lot of space for discussion, for talking, for students. Okay, so in this case, by the end of the lesson, students have 5 wonderful questions, and I love them all. And in the past, I would probably ask my students to answer all these questions, to work in pairs, work in groups, and stuff like that. Okay, because I like the question, and I think it's brilliant that they can share their opinions on different aspects of this particular topic. But with time, I learned that sometimes it's better to focus on just one question. Sometimes I am the one who chooses the question, and sometimes it's my students. I tell them, okay, guys, let's choose 1 out of 5 and let's focus on this particular question. And then I ask my students to work in pairs. It's like kind of a speed dating, So they have to ask and answer this one question. And after some time, they change partners, okay? But we are still working with the same question. So they are, answering the same question. Disclaimer, you will have a lot of eye roll at this time if you ask your students to do this, because this is what happened in my class. It was like, seriously, why should I answer the same question, I don't know, 3-4 times? What's the point? So let's talk about other aspects. And here, you have to explain to your students why you're doing this. So my answer is, guys, when you answer the question for the first time, you focus not only on what to say, but also how to say it. Okay, so it's like a double cognitive load. Yes, your brain is, like on fire. But if you do it once and then you answer the same question again, you don't have to focus on what to say because you know what you said. You just have to focus on how to say it. And you know where I'm getting, yes? Okay, and the next time you answer the same question, you're even more fluent because now you're confident, you're comfortable, you know what to say, and you know how to say it. Okay, so 3-4 times, brilliant. But you have to tell your students why you're doing this, okay? Because if you don't, they will, they might not want to work this way, okay? And they might say, she's a bad teacher, which nobody wants to hear, yeah? And actually, we are great teachers, and what we're doing here is brilliant. So just a life hack from me, talk to your students and sometimes tell them why you're doing things that you are doing. Okay, thank you. I see that you agree with me. Brilliant. Okay, so like I said, okay, so we want this the structures, the sentences, the language to be more automated. It's like driving a car. Yeah, when you started, you had to focus on changing gears and the things around you, and now you simply get in the car, start the engine, and just go. You don't even think about the things you're doing around. Okay, so the same happens here, and it is so powerful. Automation is powerful because the more the language is automated, the better our students get, and they are more fluent. And as you can see, the result or the consequence of this, that they are more brave. Yes, they feel comfortable, they feel confident, they know how to say certain things because it just goes like that, and they are not afraid to speak. Okay, so now, just give me a second. Okay, when we learn to speak, or when our students learn to speak, or when we learned, like in my case, I learned English. I'm not a native speaker. When we learn to speak, and our students, they need certain steps. They need some kind of a scaffolding. So first of all, appropriate speech patterns. They have to attend to the item. They have to hear it. They have to see it, and they have to have contact with appropriate language. Okay, then they need to pay attention to how the speakers communicate. It's different aspects, what collocations they use, that they use chunks, what kind of intonation they use, stuff like that. So they have to look not only at the words and phrases, but at the whole situation. Then, in order to learn to speak, they have to practice accuracy and fluency in controlled situation, and only then can they move to the last part, in which they practice accuracy and fluency in communicative situations, where they just, produce the language more freely. And here, I want to show you a case study, something from my teaching experience. I want to show you two groups that I work with. And one of the group is kind of represents this naive practice, and the other represents purposeful practice. What I mean by naive practice is just skipping some steps. Those are the students who come to your lessons and they just want to talk. Yes, no grammar, no grammar, please. Okay, that's what I hear quite often. They just want to talk. They just want to practice speaking, but they do not follow certain rules. And I will show you what is the consequence of that. And contrary to that is purposeful practice. It's another group I teach, and this is the group which kind of religiously follows the steps that they should take. Okay, so like I said, the first one group's name is Gabe, and the other BAM. I give my groups names. I usually take the first letters of the names and create some kind of word from it. Okay, they don't mean anything. It's just I simply remember. Yeah, it's not group 21. It's group Gabe or group BAM. It works for me. So these two groups, as you see, group Gabe is like they have access to appropriate speech patterns, so they observe other speakers, but then they skip 2 steps and they just go with the flow. They just engage in verbal communication. Yes, they do not listen to my feedback. They just talk whatever, say whatever they want. And then on the right, there is the other group, this purposeful practice, and this is the brilliant. I really love working with them. Okay, I wanted to say something, but no, I will skip it. It's about the gender of the groups. Okay, no, never happened. Okay, so this BAM group is the group in which the girls, they follow the patterns. Okay, so they work like that. Okay, here's an example. This is one of the lessons, and I started with both groups more or less at the same time, and they were more or less at the same level, around A1 plus. They were just the beginner at the beginner levels. Okay, so as you see, when we have a conversation here, similar to the one that they have to practice, they can practice with AI in this interactive speaking practice. This is something we can do in on our lessons. Yes, we want to prepare them, and this is something that they should do to be ready. Like, go with this structure, follow the structure, so that next time they are ready to have the kind of conversation in which they speak freely without looking at the hints. And like I said, group Gabe is the one that does not follow any rules. It's like this naive practice. And group BAM is the one that sets goals and takes small steps, but they work on a specific skill that they want to develop. Okay, so now a question for you guys. What do you think, after 2 years, which levels did each of the group reach? I will give you a minute to write in the chat. I meet them once a week. So it's not it's like very slow progress. It's not C1, okay? Okay, but yeah, okay, yeah, somebody wrote, yes, Gabe and BAM, because we know, yeah, we need, okay, yeah, you're quite close. Yeah, okay. So you know what I mean, yes? It's probably the same experience on your side. Of course, the group Gabe reached A2, barely, and group BAM is B1 plus, even higher. Some of them, yes, they grow really quickly, and they improve their language definitely in a faster way. Okay, so why is it so important for us to create how to say it? How is it important for us to make sure or to push our students to follow these structures, to set goals? Because our brains are pretty lazy. Our brains do not like the effort. And if your brain is not forced to respond to a demand, there will be no change. Nothing will happen. And in this case, this demand comes in the form of purposeful, deliberate practice and repetition. Okay, this is how we learn, and this is how our students learn, and this is how they remember better. So next time, when they start their practice with AI, we can be sure that if they follow the rules, if they really practice, and if they try to automate the language, they will find this practice easier and more effective. Yes, because they will simply learn more. Okay, so now let's move on to this third aspect of the irreplaceable human touch. Simply pushing them out of their comfort zone, which is, I think, the greatest challenge of all. I don't know how about you, but each student learning way is unique. Of course, each is unique, and they make progress at a different speed. They learn in a different way, but no, they do not learn in a different way. They have different different ways to find the information, but actually our brains learn in the same way. Yeah, learning styles. People have different learning styles, but that the topic of learning styles is a bit controversial, because if you okay, no, this is not the topic of this session, guys. Okay, learning styles. Dive into the topic because it's not so obvious. Our brains learn the same way. That's absolutely confirmed. Okay, so pushing them out of their comfort zones. This is something which I have to deal with quite often, because they love their comfort zone. I think we all do. Yes, like it's I think it's obvious for me. Yeah, I like my comfort zone, and when somebody tries to push me out of it, I don't feel nice, and I'm not always willing to do things I'm asked to do. Okay, so what I do here is like they usually start with very simple sentences. Okay, like we stood outside for 20 minutes. That's the message. Okay, I understand the message, but I want them to grow. I want them to say something more. So what I do is, again, I create a kind of a scaffolding, a kind of the grid in which I just give them hints. I don't expect them to change this sentence into, I don't know, like a complicated, complex sentence. No, let's do it step by step. Okay. So for example, I asked them to add an adjective. Yeah. So we stood outside for 20 miserable minutes, and so on and so on. And then they add when and where and how and why, and have a look. Can you see the difference between the first sentence and the final one? Okay, so this is something I show my students, because the sentences are created by them, but simply by adding simple or doing simple tweaks or adding some single words, they can build a complex, a beautiful, complex sentence. And I do this quite often. I use one more brilliant tool, which the course book, the Speak Out, offers, which is the option of recording yourself. Somebody mentioned it at the beginning in the chat box. Yes, like before Speak Out introduced this option, I used to do it with my students. I recorded them with my mobile phone because I noticed that I think you will agree with me that we easily notice mistakes made by other people. it's more difficult to notice our own mistakes. Yeah. And I'm not only talking about speaking, it's about life. Yes. It's so easy to give advice. We can see that what somebody is doing is totally wrong, but we cannot see it in ourselves. So it applies here to speaking. And, when you speak, sometimes you catch the mistake and you are able to correct yourself immediately, instantly, but sometimes you don't. And when I experimented a bit with that, and I started recording my students, and then I played their recordings to them. And every time it happens that while listening to their own recording, they were catching their own mistakes. It's like, oh, gee, yeah, seriously, I know it's wrong. Why did I say that? Okay. But it gives them a chance to think back, to listen to themselves. Okay, so now that's the option. You can record yourself. And here I encourage my students to, when we build the sentence, okay, or when we create this kind of the scaffolded sentence, we start from the simple one and then we create a longer one. And I ask them to record themselves, but then listen to your recording and analyze your mistakes. First, try to find the mistakes, try to think how you can correct them, but then also again, listen and decide, is this sentence advanced enough, or is it very simple? Are you in your comfort zone again? If you are, try to get out of it. So add something to the sentence and record yourself again. It works brilliantly with my students, so I highly recommend this option for you to work with your to use with your students. Like I said, it's easier to see mistakes made by other people, not by ourselves. But when you engage in self-correction, your retention is better. You remember better. Okay. I don't know if you have experience like that, but when I say something in the wrong way and somebody corrects me or I correct myself, then I remember. I simply remember, okay? Because probably some emotional load also in here. Okay, so now the last thing I want to show you today, try to encourage your students to make learning a habit. They have a brilliant tool. They have this AI conversation partner that they can use outside the classroom. They have a lot of chances, a lot of opportunities to use the language in the classroom. But the idea here behind this tool is to give them opportunities to do it in a different way and do it outside the classroom. And, the condition here is that they should do it as often as possible. And I will show you a trick or a tool that I use, something I created some time ago. Some of you are probably familiar with the trackers. Okay, there are some water drinking trackers, gym trackers. Okay, so this is like the system in which you track your progress, in which you document the things you do every day. Yes. Okay. So I created a learning tracker and I shared it with my students. And in this case, it's like you can see, it's like practice a skill, choose a skill for 1 week, from Monday to Saturday. Okay. Let's say you want to practice speaking. You want to have conversations with this AI platform. So do it every day. I don't know, for 2 or 5 minutes. It really doesn't take a lot of time to do the task in this interactive speaking practice form. Do it every day, document it so that you will see, and hopefully it will motivate you to keep working. And the last one, the Sunday in this case, is just the reward day. Because after working for 6 days, like really hard work, I think you deserve a reward. Okay, so I want to show you. I have here the photo of the tracker that one of my students did. I had to cover the name. In this case, like I also used a different trick because as you see, the first day of the week here is Thursday because it was the day of our lesson. So whenever they attended the lesson, they just had a tick, okay? So it really motivated them. So if I have one tick or one smiley face, I have to keep on working. So I encourage you to experiment, to try with ideas like that, and encourage your students to to track their progress, because we want to motivate them to go back to this interactive speaking practice, to do it again, to do it better, to do it in a more engaging way, like really analyze the key phrases, really analyze the feedback and do it better again. Okay, so I want to just finish with this quote. It's there was a lot of discussion about AI. Okay, what about us teachers? Yes, like what will happen to us? I absolutely agree with this quote that AI is not replacing the teacher. It's replacing the tasks that take the teacher away from the students. So I will leave you with that and some kind of food for thought. Definitely was for me. Thank you very much for attending this session. You were amazing here in the chat. I did not manage to read everything, but I kept I tried to follow your comments whenever possible. So thank you very much. You can find me on Instagram if you want to stay in touch. I'm also on LinkedIn. So there, if you want to text me or I don't know, send any message or ask about anything, feel free to contact me this way.